Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, this is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you all the first in my Daredevil Season 2 episode reviews right here on Otaku Assemble Weekly. Now, as I mentioned in my previous Vikings episode review, which, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, please feel free to do so right here on the OAW YouTube channel. As I mentioned in my previous video, I will be reviewing each episode of Daredevil Season 2 individually, and those will be posted right here on the OAW YouTube channel in the weekend. So, for those of you all who decide to take your time with the series, you don't want to binge watch it, you don't want to marathon watch it, please feel free, check out my reviews every weekend. They'll pretty much be uploaded in between my regularly weekly scheduled reviews. And for those of you all who have already seen the season, please feel free, come back, check out my reviews. Now, for those of you all who have not watched all the episodes yet, I will be disabling the comments in my reviews until I review the whole season, in which case I'll open them up and, let the discussion flow. So, on to my review, and this is my review of Season 2, Episode 1, entitled Bang! Appropriately titled, might add. Appropriately titled. So, general thoughts on the episode. Now, it does start off as a bit of a slow burner, which does make sense because we are being reintroduced to this world. We are being reintroduced to Hell's Kitchen in the aftermath of Season 1, and we need to establish the status quo for this season, which Matt's still moonlighting as Daredevil. He's still doing the crime-fighting thing, and of course, Foggy knows about it, so he's on the ends this time around, and so we get an exchange between them about, pretty much how he feels about the whole thing. Now, Karen, she's still out of the loop, but that's because Karen has some secrets of her own that even Matt and Foggy don't know about yet. If you recall how her story in Season 1 ended, and I'm pretty sure they're going to dwell into that later on in this season. They have to. I mean, how long can you really drag that out, right? But, so everything's hunky-dory in Hell's Kitchen. Things are operating as normal. However, the main crux of this episode, setting up for the conflict of this season, now that Fisk is out of the picture for the time being, and all of the organizations he was working with in Season 1, that being the Russians, the Triad, the Yakuza, they've pretty much jumped ship out of Hell's Kitchen, at least for the time being. Well, what do you think happens when the major organization in the criminal underworld suddenly vanishes? You create a power vacuum. And so we get introduced to a Russian mob who's decided that they're going to fill that void. And as soon as we get introduced to these guys, I'm talking about in the middle of a monologue, bam, they immediately and absolutely get taken out. So one of the guys survives, runs over to Nelson and Murdock, and that's how Matt, Foggy, and Karen figure out, that's how they learn that apparently there is an assailant going around taking out criminals. This leads Matt and Foggy to do some, groundwork, try to figure out what's going on, and all of these inquiries lead to a confrontation on a rooftop with said assailant and our veteran Daredevil. Now, for those of you all who have managed to avoid every trailer, avoid every promo art, for those of you all completely in the dark, don't know what's going on, I kind of don't want to spill the beans on who this assailant is. But for my comic book aficionados and those of us who have been following the series in between Season 1 and 2, we know this is Frank Castle, the Punisher. Yes, the same character that Dolph Lundgren played in the 1990 film, the same character that Thomas Jane played in the 03 film, the same character we got in, what was this, 08 Punisher Warzone by Ray Stevenson. So yes, we finally have the Punisher in the MCU, in the Netflix universe. And, of course, how would you imagine a Daredevil and Punisher meet for the first time, confrontation to play out, a major fight on top of a rooftop. And that's where the episode actually ends. So, like I said, the episode starts off slow, and then it starts cooking in the middle, and then when it gets hot at the end, it gets hot. Now, I think that it is somewhat of an appropriate first episode to the second season of a continual series. The episode wasn't really set up to be somewhat of a pilot because we already know who everyone is. We didn't really need to set up anything other than what's going to be the new conflict for this season, and I think that they did a good job doing that. I still think the writing's pretty well done. I still think the acting's pretty well done. I'm curious to see how the actor Barenthal, I think is how you pronounce his last name, who will be portraying the Punisher in this season. I'll be real interested to see how he portrays the character. I've seen this actor portray many different types of characters, usually supporting roles, small supporting roles, but I mean, if, you know, the whole tough guy persona, if it's anything like his character in Wolf of Wall Street, I'm in. The second I find out that they cast this guy to be the Punisher, I'm like, oh yeah, all chips are in, full blown, let's go, let's do this, let's roll. So, all in all, I think episode 1 was pretty good. Now, I'm definitely going to be, of course, I'm a huge Daredevil fan. I love the series. I love season 1. So, of course, I'm going to be, you know, checking out the rest of the episodes. Like I mentioned, I will be reviewing them. I'm not going to marathon them. I'm not going to binge watch them. No, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to enjoy me some Daredevil because it's going to be like another year or two before we get another season. So, I'm not in a rush to finish it. Well, but that pretty much wraps up my Season 2, Episode 1 review. So, guys, if you like this review and if you want to continue seeing the rest of my reviews, please feel free to subscribe to Otaku Assemble, subscribe to OAW. There should be an annotation somewhere on the screen, probably here or there. And so, later on this weekend, I'll have episodes, let's see, tomorrow will be episode 2, Sunday episode 3, Monday episode 4, and then once we hit Tuesday, we'll be back to our normally weekly scheduled reviews. That'll be Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, finally making it to OAW. So, with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and until next time, peace.